Hi, this is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com. Welcome to the Palmetto State Baseball Podcast for April 15th. This podcast is part of my coverage of college baseball in South Carolina. I offer schedules, scores, rankings, and other news about all 33 teams in South Carolina at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. I'm also active on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the handle Palmetto Base. Drop me an email at rudyjones at PalmettoStateBaseball.com or send me a message on X. Listener interaction helps me know what I need to do better or at least differently. If you see me at a game, please come say hi. I'll probably be wearing a blue cap with the South Carolina State flag emblem on the front and the words PalmettoStateBaseball.com embroidered on the back. If you like my coverage of college baseball in South Carolina, please tell your baseball fan friends and invite them to like and follow my stuff too. Instead of my sponsor, I use a little time each podcast to talk about the church where I serve the Lord. Please come worship with me at Reedy River Baptist Church, US 25 between Travelers Rest and the Furman University Golf Course in Greenville County. Worship time is at 10:30 on Sunday mornings. You will be made to feel welcome. Before I get on to on-field action, I wanted to vent a little bit about the Clemson-South Carolina series not being completed. Both schools said that they could not come up with a suitable date and time for the makeup game of the game that was rained out in March in Columbia. I think that was really a disservice to fans of both schools and to college baseball in the state of South Carolina. That game means a lot to fans on both schools. I think they should have already had a potential makeup date ready in case the game got rained out. I know one of these schools said something along the lines of the competition remaining made it difficult to come up with a makeup date. Well, I don't think they might have added any other games to what they had before the season started, so they already knew what the competition was. Again, that game should have been played. Okay, now back to a review of last week and what was going on there. Lots of games going on in the middle of the week last week. Some of the highlights included South Carolina getting a win over North Carolina in Charlotte. Is a 2-1 game, a really well pitched game on both sides, and South Carolina just happened to come up on top. USC Upstate knocked off Clemson 9-5. They got a late grand slam to take the lead and held on. Wake Forest beat Coastal Carolina. Western Carolina topped Presbyterian, and a couple of the other games going on. College of Charleston beat Charleston Southern. And on Wednesday, we had North Greenville rallying to beat Coker. Winthrop beat the Citadel, and Wofford got a nice win over North Florida. Last weekend, of course, most of the schools were playing conference series. South Carolina went down to Gainesville and beat Florida 2 out of 3. Very impressive performance for the Gamecocks in the first two games of the series. They handed Florida its first weekend series loss at home in 15 series. That's very impressive. The Gators were on a long losing streak before they won Sunday's game. Clemson lost 2 of 3 to NC State, coming on the heels of their loss to USC Upstate midweek. Defense really hurt the Tigers in the two games they lost. Probably would have beaten NC State if they had played better defense. Would probably would have swept them, or had at least a great chance at doing it. On Sunday, Aiden Knack, however you pronounce it, was brilliant. He struck out 10 in 8 innings, allowed 2 singles as the Tigers beat NC State to get the finale of the series. Coastal Carolina won 2 out of 3 at Georgia Southern. College of Charleston swept Monmouth. Also, North Greenville lost its first game against Francis Marion, but came back to win the last 2. They're now in a first-place tie with Young Harris in Conference Carolinas. Elsewhere, Lander moved into first place in the Peach Belt Conference with a sweep of previous first-place team Georgia College. Florence Darlington Tech remained unbeaten in Region 10 play with a sweep of USC Union. USC Salkehatchie stopped a long losing streak with a win over USC Lancaster on Sunday in Game 1 of their doubleheader. Presbyterian has swept a series from Winthrop in non-conference play, and USC Upstate won 2 out of 3 over the Citadel down in Charleston in non-conference action. Looking to what's coming up this week on Tuesday night, Charleston, you'll see South Carolina and the Citadel playing at Joe Riley Park. Also in Charleston, you've got Charleston Southern facing College of Charleston. Clemson is at home again against Charlotte. Other games include Davidson at Winthrop, North Greenville at Limestone, PC at Wofford, USC Aiken at Coker. Also, Bob Jones is at home, Erskine's at home, Voorhees at home. Several games going on. On Wednesday, North Greenville is going to go to Harrogate, Tennessee for a makeup game with Lincoln Memorial. That game was rained out last week. On Friday, some big series going on. South Carolina is at home against previous number one Arkansas. The Razorbacks lost a series to Alabama and fell out of the number one spot, replaced in most, if not all, of the polls by Texas A&M. But it's a chance for the Gamecocks to climb even further in these rankings. They got back in 2 of the rankings they were out of last week. They're now in a total of 4 of the 5 major national rankings. Clemson is at home against Pitt for a series there. The Citadel is at VMI, and Wofford is at Mercer in Southern Conference play. Charleston Southern is at USC Upstate. Right now, USC Upstate and PC are tied for first place in the Big South Conference. So that'll be a big series there. PC, meanwhile, is at High Point. College of Charleston is at home against William and Mary. Among the top games among Division II teams, you have Barton at Erskine, North Greenville's at Shawan, trying to stay on top in the Conference Carolinas. Catawba's at Coker in a nice matchup. Francis Marion at Southern Wesleyan. Lander at Claflin. Unfortunately, Claflin's losing streak has now reached 37 games. Hopefully they can have some good luck at some point, but it'll be tough against Lander because the Bearcats have won 10 straight games and they're doing well. The Region 10 regular season comes to an end this week, and as it turns out, the top 2 teams in the region are playing head-to-head to help determine the Region 10 champion. Florence-Darlington Tech has won all 5 series so far. They're 20-0 in the Region 10 area, or Region 10 standings. Gaston College have been atop the standings for much of the year until they lost a couple of games to USC Union a couple of weeks back. And the Rhinos are now 17-3. That's 3 games behind Florence-Darlington Tech. All Florence-Darlington Tech has to do to get the top seed for the region tournament is to win 1 out of the 4 games that are going to be played this weekend. They play a doubleheader at 3 and a doubleheader on Sunday at 1. Both of those are at Sims Legion Park in Gastonia. I'm sure a lot of Stingers fans are going to head up there to try to see what's going on. Spartanburg Methodist completed its Region 10 schedule last week. It was probably the last Region 10 regular season series for the Pioneers with Tim Wallace as coach. The school is planning to go to a 4-year status and compete on another level, quite possibly NAIA, beginning next year. But Pioneers won 3 out of 4 at USC Sumter, and they finished 3rd in the conference at 15-9. I'm just hitting highlights of series both past week and the upcoming week here, but all scores and links to any boxes I can find are always available at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. One thing I had not mentioned yet, this happened Monday night, right before I recorded this. The Erskine Junior Varsity team won the Conference Carolinas developmental tournament with a 12-11 win over Southern Wesleyan JVs. Both the teams won semifinal games earlier today, and they met for the championship at Sparrow Stadium in Florence. My team of the week for the past week was Lander. The Bearcats won 5 games and are now on a 10-game winning streak, doing well. In my rankings of State Division I schools, Clemson, South Carolina, and Coastal remain the top 3, followed by College of Charleston, Wofford, and USC Upstate. They've really kind of distanced themselves from the other 4 teams in the state, although PC is playing well right now. In Division II, North Greenville, Lander, Coker are my top 4. In Division II, nothing changed there this week. Columbia International remained atop my rankings for NAIA and NCCAA affiliated schools. Florence-Darlington Tech and Spartanburg Methodist are the top 2 in my junior college rankings. One thing I want to go back to, I forgot to mention over last week, is Joshua Legnard of Bob Jones continues to just pitch tremendous baseball. He went 8 innings of shutout baseball against Toccoa Falls on Saturday in Game 1 of their doubleheader in Greenville. He struck out 10, allowed only 2 singles, and left the game with no decision. The Bruins wound up giving a 3-run homer in the ninth to lose the game, went on to lose the series. But Legnard is really pitching well. He has struck out 45 batters in 36 innings over his last 5 starts. The first 4 were all complete games, and he pitched longer than that. The first 4 were all 7-inning games, and this one's an 8-inning game. So Joshua Legnard's really done well. I don't always mention every team's results in my weekly look back or look ahead, but complete schedules and results are always available in the calendar at the bottom of PalmettoStateBaseball.com. I put out a new podcast every Monday during the season. I had some things come up today where I got delayed, and I apologize for that if you were looking forward and expecting this to have been put out earlier. If you enjoy my podcast and other coverage of college baseball in South Carolina, please tell your baseball fan friends about it. Tell them about PalmettoStateBaseball.com. You can email comments, compliments, or criticisms to me at rudyjones@PalmettoStateBaseball.com. I want your input to help me have the best coverage possible of the best level of the greatest sport God ever allowed to be invented. As a reminder, I'd love for you to come worship with me at Reedy River Baptist Church, 871 North 25 Bypass between Travelers Rest and the Furman University Golf Course in the Greenville County. Worship time is at 10:30 on Sunday mornings. I hope that you will find that we are a friendly church and will want to worship with us regularly. Thanks again for listening to the April 15th episode of the Palmetto State Baseball Podcast. This is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com saying, it's a beautiful day for baseball. Let's play two.